Let's enter into the sessions. I'll introduce how this technology happened, how this whole science happened in me. Knowing this, you will really have the strong vidarka and inspiration to enter into this whole science. Introduction is never waste of time, it's a right investment. Person who creates formula to reproduce the outer world understandings on every mind is a scientist. Person who creates formula to reproduce the experiences of the inner world on everybody is a mystic. Person who creates outer world experiences to reproduce the outer world experiences into others, outer world understandings into others, who creates formula is a scientist. Person who creates formulas to reproduce the inner world experiences on others is a mystic. So how this formula to reproduce this experience on others happened in me is an introduction about this science, this technology. The young age I was spending a lot of time in traveling, doing pilgrimages and wanderings. So I was near Varanasi, a small place near Ghazipur. There was a small town. I was staying there and taking care of one sadhu, one very elderly sadhu. He was in his deathbed. I was staying in the hospital, ICU. ICU means don't visualize Hyderabad ICUs. The village hospital ICUs. I can say town hospitals ICUs. Kind of a two broken steel cot, but for a town it was well equipped. For that size town it was well equipped. I was taking care of him. In North India, the tradition is all the young sadhus will take care of the old sadhus. Taking care of sadhus is considered as a great punya, especially when they are sick and old. I was taking care of this sadhu. At that time, I happened to see one guy dying in the hospital, in the ICU. Next bed. I was with this sadhu, I saw that next bed, that guy started dying. Please understand, I am describing as I experienced, and I am responsible for what I am talking. I know many people follow the instructions I give. Many people practice these teachings. Because of that, I have to be more responsible about what I am talking. See, if nobody is listening, nobody is caring, nobody is practicing, I can talk what I want. But I know millions of people are practicing what I am talking, listening to what I am talking. So I am responsible for what I am uttering. With that responsibility, I am telling you, as exactly I experienced. I saw this person dying. It was such a strong experience for me. Still, even when I remember, even now I can just see visually the whole thing in front of me, including that old glass on that steel table. near that patient. I can see everything so vividly. That guy he started dying. The doctors were standing around and trying to help, support him, whatever medically they can do, giving oxygen or whatever medically they can do, they were trying to do. But of course, they were not able to save him. He started leaving the body. First time I was seeing death directly. In the young age, I saw my old grandmother dying, but I didn't have the vision or the spiritual experience to see what is happening in the being. Here, I was able to see very clearly what is happening in that being. But I was not able to help. I was not able to do any help to that person. But I was able to see what was happening in that being. I saw very clearly first that physical body suffering. It's almost like a tremendous pain raising in the system. It's like thousands of scorpions biting at a time. Every pore. I saw intense pain happening in that body. So thousands of scorpions. You see, even if you cut yourself just half inch, you know how you feel. It's almost like you're peeling the skin. I saw that intense pain happening in that body. Every pore, intense pain. In few minutes, I saw that that person's soul was not able to tolerate that pain. It just dived into coma. Means like see, in your system, you have an automatic painkiller mechanism. That is a coma. The pain is too much, you fall into coma. That's a kind of an automatic painkiller mechanism. It's not that you will not have pain, you will not feel the pain. When it becomes too much, like a sound, if it is too less, you can't hear. If it is too much, you can't hear. The frequency is more, you can't hear. The same way, if the pain is beyond certain frequency, you push yourself into coma. You can't experience it anymore. You can't see anymore. I saw that person just jumped into coma. The moment he fell into the coma, his being, his soul started leaving the body. See, because he fell into the coma, all his old engrams, samskaras become alive, awakened. It's like when you fall into the dream state, all your desires will be awakened. Desire, fear, guilt, everything will be wildly playing on you. You can see very clearly. Sometime early morning, if you wake up, the moment you wake up, if you remember, just few moments before, because you are not aware of yourself, you are not aware of the self was not alive, individual and clear, how your fears were possessing you. For example, if you had the dream like you are running, escaping from a snake or elephant, you can see very clearly, the moment you wake up, how the whole thing is empty, but when you are in that coma stage, how it was looking really like a reality, truth. I saw very clearly, same way, that soul dropping into the coma and all the desires, unfulfilled desires just become alive. See, when you don't have logic, the individual awareness, you will not see the difference between the dream state and waking state. That is why kids, till they develop the logic, if they feel hungry in the dream state, they will cry in the waking state. Whatever they experience in the dream state, they will feel in the waking state. They can't differentiate between the dream state and waking state. The dream, if they feel that somebody has beaten them or some problem, they will be crying in the waking state. They can't see the difference. If the logic is not sharp enough, if the individual awareness is not there, in Sanskrit we have a word, Pratyagatma Chaitanya Jakratam, means individual awareness. If that is not there, you will not have the difference between the dream and waking state. I saw in this person, please understand, through this story I am revealing some of the important truths related to death. And I am responsible for all the words I am uttering. I will answer all your questions related to the subject I am talking. Any doubt you have, you can note down and write a question. The next session I will answer. Just like if you go to a lawyer, he is ethically bound to give you the right opinion about the problem. So an enlightened being is ethically bound to tell you the truth exactly as it happens about the cosmos, the cosmic questions like a life and death and everything. So, even if it was little shocking, even if it was little against your religious beliefs, your ideas, I am sorry about offending you, but what I am saying is truth. I am expressing it as it happened. Because the person fell into a coma, I saw very clearly all his desires become alive. Almost like the frequency of the desires is much more than frequency of his individual soul. So he is just kicked left and right by those desires. This guy has become just 4 feet and the desires are standing 20-30 feet. Like a football is being played by those desires. They are kicking him left and right. Anyhow, it was a terrible suffering for that person. He felt very deeply depressed that he did not leave all these desires. He wants to stay back in the body and leave all those desires. But body is telling, no, I am tired, I can't host you anymore, please get out. Body says, I am pushing you out. But the desires are so tall, so imposing, so influencing, the soul wants to stay back in the body and enjoy, but unable to. This fight, this conflict is what I call suffering, the death suffering. Understand? Do not think you will go to hell and you will be put in the hell and boiled. No, this process is hell. There is no separate hell. This process is hell. All the engrams, your engrams, which you carry as, which you cherish, which you think as life, will be awakened the moment you fall into the coma. So I saw that soul was moving through the desires with tremendous suffering, deep suffering. Then slowly that soul moved to the next level. Next level I saw, instead of desires, that soul was attacked by the guilt. See, when you feel I should live like this, it's a desire. When you feel I should have lived like that, it's a guilt. When your soul goes towards the future, it's desire. If it goes towards the past, it's guilt. I saw the soul getting caught with a deep guilt. Oh, I should have done this, I should have done this, I should have lived like that, I should have finished that fellow that time, I did not fight properly, I did not do this properly. You can see even now in your life. Morning, if you finish your fight in the house and go to the office while you are working, all the points will come. Oh, I missed this point, I missed that point. You will prepare your notes and come back in the evening. The moment you enter the house, shoes will fly and start the session again with all the points that you remembered. And again, when you are in front of the spouse, in that heat, you will forget 4 or 5 points to answer. So that night, while you are in the bed, you will start taking the notes. Next day, you are ready. Anyhow, the guilt of that person was so strong that soul immediately wanted to go back to that body and want to relive all those incidents as he wants. Wanted to redo everything. But body says, no, I am tired, get out. And with that load, please understand, when that soul was going through every desire, the stress on that soul was getting increased. The load was getting increased. Then that soul started moving towards the guilt. Then again more load getting added. This load is what I call karma. Please understand. When you go through the desire or guilt, all the load happens on you. All your decision, no, I did not live that way, now I will live. I did not do this, now I will do. All those decisions you make is your prarabdha, with which you assume the next body. Please understand. Your life is not direct result of your past actions. It is your decisions made about the past actions is this life. For example, last life, you gave 100,000 rupees to somebody, or you cheated 2,000 rupees from somebody, you killed 2 people, you saved 10 people. Your life in this life is not totality of all those actions, your decisions about all those actions. For example, you see, oh, saving gave me so much of joy. This time I will save 100 people. Oh, killing gave me real joy. This time I am going to give 100 people. No. When I swindled money, I felt very bad. This time I won't swindle. No. Last time when I served the money, gave money to others, I felt very joyful. This time I will give more. What decisions you make about those incidents when you leave the body is this life. Please understand, I am throwing one of the important light on the concept of karma. I am breaking the traditional idea of karma.